That's actually, it's a great intersection, because when I mentioned earlier, when I say I love people, but I'm curious about people. Um, I wasn't a bully because I hated people or I was mean necessarily. I think I was a bully because I had a pretty crazy childhood.
Okay.
Like a lot of people, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. My parents got divorced when I was 12. My father was um, uh, a homicide detective,
Okay.
and my mother was a homemaker for the first early part of my life. So they had a pretty volatile relationship. And I think that ended up manifesting in me just trying to deal with shit and trying to control things. And I think when you're young and your brain's still developing and you're trying to understand what's going on, you create all kinds of scenarios in life where you can either reenact things or try and master something that you can't master at home. So I think part of me being a bully when I was younger was just me trying to assert some control and power, not because I was just like a sociopath.
Okay. You're just trying to, I mean, that's makes sense. I think that's when we live in chaos, the first thing we try to do is try to get control over something, right? Think
Yep.
about, when the whole pandemic was going down, when people have anxieties and they don't know what's going on, the first thing they're going to do is try to control their situation, which is why all the toilet paper went away,
That's
because
right.
to stock up on toilet paper, because
Exactly. Exactly.
kind of what I'm hearing from you. Yeah. So you try to
Exactly.
get that control. You're trying to get that control. What did you learn about yourself in all that? And, I mean, not, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like, how did you get away from that to evolve into more of a, I don't know, a leader? I guess you a leader, right? I mean, that's a safe.
Yes. Yes, I would say that would be a good word for me. Um, well, I'm still learning, and one of the fascinating things about getting older is you every time you think you've got a handle on who you are or learn something about yourself, you realize you were still probably in some stage of figuring it out. But gosh, I think part of it was literally psychological development. I mean, I think part of it was just the brain growing and learning to understand and socialize differently. Um,
I think it's fair to say that you were
yeah,
even a leader back then. Your approach was just command and control, right?
yeah,
Like you
exactly.
alluded to, like other interviews that I listened, that you were always the leader. You were always bringing people together, but it was more of an aggressive way to do it.
Right. So the negative side of my bullying took the form of asserting myself to take control in sort of a negative frame. But I definitely bullied my friends into doing the things that I wanted them to do. But I probably learned some lessons in that. I mean, I started a gang, when I was 10,
Damn.
called the Slick Chicks.
I knew you were hard.
And
I didn't know you were that hard.
yeah, yeah, I had a tattoo. So yeah, I had a Mickey Mouse clubhouse in my backyard, and so I started this gang called the Slick Chicks, and I made everybody write with a Sharpie on the back of one of their white T-shirts, Slick Chicks. So we had like gang T-shirts, um, and yeah, I mean, I guess back then they called it bossy, and I was very bossy. So um, my bullying didn't always take the form of sort of like physical or psychological harassment. Sometimes it was just motivating people.